Hey guys, welcome back to the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 101 and we're currently over here at the Mumbo Jumbo Jungle base. And I was just heading over to the storage area, ready to start recording the video because that is always where I start recording my episodes, right the way down there. And I was walking along my pathway and I noticed this thing. Look, we have got ourselves a gold block and also a golden apple for contesting in the Ultra Hardcore 4. Thank you ever so much for the support that we got on that series. There were loads of lovely comments, people offering support. Of course, there were some people that were saying, "Oh, you're rubbish. Oh, you can't do anything. You're the worst at this ever." And I know that was something that I really did expect. That's why I put the warning at the beginning of the episodes. But I lasted for 5 episodes, okay? I did better than I was expecting. I was expecting like 1 or 2. I mean, I was really did think that I was going to die in the first couple of minutes, so I think I did a fairly decent job there. But before we even begin on this episode of Hermitcraft, I just want to have a little chat to you about a few things that are on my mind. So first things first, thank you for the support that we got on episode 100. I know I've been talking about support and how nice you've all been recently, but episode 100 went down really well. Everyone seemed really happy. They were all reading the questions, answering the questions, asking me things about stuff, and I was in the comment section doing all that. So it was lovely. It really was a nice place to be, the comment section of that video, because sometimes things can get a little bit volatile in the YouTube comment section. That's one thing that I've learned over the years. Now, the next thing that I want to say is that I have now started producing Mumbo Jumbo merchandise. So now you can buy some Mumbo Jumbo t-shirts if you really want them. One thing that I will say though is that it is a limited run. They are only going to be out for 21 days. So if you think in the future you are going to want a Mumbo Jumbo t-shirt, then you've got 21 days to decide. Now, another thing that I just want to quickly say is that all of the profits that I make from this are going to be going towards my home studio project. So that means that basically by buying a t-shirt, you are going to be supporting better and more frequent videos. So there we go. I'll let you make the decision. If you don't want one, then that is fine. But if you do want one, links to that will be down in the description. But anyway, we're going to be cracking on with today's project. I don't know why I walked over here, because I'm not going to be doing anything in New Hermiton. How strange. Well, that isn't really strictly true. We are actually going to be working in the Nether over at New Hermiton because I want to create a way for me to use the minecart to get to and from Hermiton. I'm always going there, always popping back and forth, and this path, although it's great, and you know, we've got the ice track, the minecart system on the other hand is pretty awful. The minecart always goes right the way past my base, and then you never see it again. There is never any minecarts inside this chest. Today, for some reason, there are minecarts. Why do these sorts of things happen to me? But basically, it's never fully operational. So what I thought I'd do is I will create some form of train station that goes from my base over to this area here, using a sort of minecart loop. So we have 2 minecarts, we hop in one at one end, and then as we travel along, the other one is launched off and then travels back. That is my idea. Don't really know if it's going to work or how it's going to work. Haven't really thought that far ahead. So I'm going to hop into a redstone testing world and we'll give it a bash. So this is my first test of my so-called mine loop system. Alright, so we've got a minecart over there, and as you can see, we've got 2 separate tracks. So if we hit this button here, we should travel along, then that one should move off, and oh, it doesn't quite work perfectly, but it is definitely there. The idea definitely functions. Look, this minecart has ended up at the other end, and we ended up at that end. Thumbs up from me! This is perfect! I've played about a little bit more with the redstone and all the timings and things, so if you sit in this minecart, hit this button, we will travel off, that minecart will then move off, and we'll be sat in the same position as it was just in, and that minecart over there will take up our old one. So that is that. That is the system working. It is all perfectly functional, and the redstone behind it is super duper simple. Okay, so this is the minecart that we moved off in, and when we hit the button, we just travel off, we go over this detector rail here, activate this redstone, turn on those powered rails, and then that minecart moves off, travels along the line, and falls into this spot while we travel off and land in this spot, and then those powered rails will be powered off, so we will stay there. That is essentially it. We're doing the old minecart switcheroo, and it works perfectly. So that is that mechanism. Now it is time to start scaling it up, and we're going to build it on the Hermitcraft server. Oh, this is going to need a lot of resources. So first things first, we need to do a little bit of clearing. And when I say a little bit, I mean one heck of a lot. Oh my, this is going to take a long time because this is a very long tunnel. I hadn't quite anticipated how big this tunnel actually is. But anyway, what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to get used to holding the left click button, watching out for all of that lava, definitely trying not to hit any zombie pigmen because that really would ruin my day. The good news is that netherrack is extremely easy to mine. Probably shouldn't be using my 2 best pickaxes. In fact, I think I'm going to head back to the base and get myself some new ones. But basically, that is going to be my view for the next couple hours, I'd say. So I thought because I've actually run out of decent pickaxes, I would get myself geared up a little bit. And I know that you can insta-mine netherrack using efficiency 3. So first off, Unbreaking 3 onto the pickaxe and then efficiency 3. And that hasn't cost me very many levels at all. So I'll quickly do all of those. That is Unbreaking 3 and then efficiency 3. So that is that pickaxe done. And we have got ourselves some real netherrack destroying business pickaxes here. So there we go. Instead of using our silk touch ones, all of those ones there, as you can see, my diamond pickaxe supplies really have gone down the drain. Look, we've got that one there, that's almost gone, and then all of these have pretty much run out apart from that one, which is regular, and then that one there, and that Fortune 2 pickaxe. And I can completely understand why that one's got so much left. So I think maybe in the future a little enchanting session might be what we need. Good news, I have managed to get the tunnel all done. For some reason, a donkey has walked in. I don't know where he's come from, but it seems to me like he just wants to be part of the limelight. But this is the tunnel. It is long, it is dark, and it isn't looking particularly good at the minute. We need to do some prettying. We need to purify the whole place, but I don't think I'm going to do that anytime in the near future, just because that would be such a long and repetitive project. I don't know if I want to commit to something like that. But as you can see, this tunnel over here doesn't look too bad just because it is a little bit taller. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and avoid hitting this pigman, and I'm going to make this tunnel 3 blocks high. Now, one thing that is a bit of a problem is all of the lava up at the top. It just pours down and then it spreads like nothing else. It's crazy. It almost killed me so many times, so I'm going to have to watch out for that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk back down the tunnel, mining out the entire roof so we can have a nice spacious area for our little minecart system. We did it, 3x3 all the way down to the end. That is all complete, and surprisingly enough, it didn't actually take that long. I got myself all prepared. I've got 3 pickaxes with me, and I only used one of them. I didn't even use one of them. I've used like half of one, which is a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? But anyway, now the next thing that we have to do is we're going to need to craft a buttload. I repeat, a buttload of rails, because we need to go rails all the way up this end and rails all the way coming back like this. So that means that we need twice as many rails as the length of the tunnel. Now, I've got a lot of iron, okay? The Hermitcraft server in general has got a lot of iron. But this is really going to try my iron supplies, because I don't think I've got enough to do all of that. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, of course, it is just a waiting game. It's just going to be quite frustrating if we get halfway to the end, run out of rails. I have to go all the way back and repeat that process over and over again. We'll see how it goes. So I just popped on over to the gold farm to gather up some resources so we can make all of these powered rails, and I've noticed that Exuma has done a little bit of decorating. This place looks absolutely amazing. As you can see, we have got a few chests for the zombie flesh, which I've ran out of food, so that is extremely helpful. But on top of that, we have also got all of these chests, which are full to the brim of golden nuggets. I mean, look how many we've got. Tons upon tons of golden nuggets, all ready to be crafted into golden ingots and then golden blocks. And look how many golden blocks we have managed to get. That is awesome. Thank you ever so much to Exuma for building this farm, and also the Ocean Monument farm. That's another mental one that he's been working on. The guy's crazy. Now, I don't really know how this has come about, but I've managed to get myself more powered rails than I actually have regular rails, which is quite good, because that means that we can have ourselves a super fast, just fly on through down the tunnel railway that is going to get us to New Hermiton nice and quickly. I think the setup that I'm going to use is 2 powered rails, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more powered rails. And I think I'm going to do both sides at the same time, just because I guess when we're walking up, you know, we can do all this, and then we can place the redstone torch in the middle, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do the 2 powered rails like that, and then place down the redstone torch. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. It is going to take a very long time. This is a very long tunnel indeed. I mean, we've gone probably around about 20, maybe 30 blocks. We've got a couple hundred to go yet. Oh, it's going to be a long day. And just like that, I have managed to run out of rails. So as you can see, we have travelled around about, I would say, halfway through the tunnel, and we have run out of the regular rails, which I wasn't expecting to do so soon, but it just shows you how far we have actually managed to go. And come to think about it, actually, I've been running for a little while here. I would say we're probably just over halfway. Maybe. It's really hard to judge. Of course it's really hard to judge, because all I can see is netherrack. Nothing changes, there's no points of reference or anything like that. So it's just looking like a long tunnel at the minute. So actually, I think I've gone a lot further than I first imagined, but we have run out of rails. We are fresh out of rails. That means I'm having to head back to the base, pick up some more, then go all the way back to the end and continue from that point. In fact, I'm going to check. How much powered rail do we have? Okay, we've still got tons of the stuff, so I won't have to worry about that for any time soon. I can see it! I can see the end of the tunnel. I am going to place rails like I've never placed before. Let's chuck all of these down, powered rails there, and then we just need a few more. We are approaching the end of the tunnel, and I have to admit, this part has taken a whole lot longer than I was first expecting. The whole mining out thing, taking out the entire area, didn't actually take that long, but this, oh man, this has been ridiculous. It's just so much right-clicking. My hand is cramping up as I'm doing this, but I'm going to continue forth because, as you can see, we are right at the very end here. So we'll place those in, and then just a few more of the rails. That is 5 there, and then the 2 powered rails like this. And I think that will be it. That will be the end, because of course we have to add in the mechanism that will loop the minecart over and onto this side. So that is it. The entire tunnel is done. All of the rails are in place, and now I have got tons of them left over as well, which is, well, it's a strange problem to have, because we've used up a ton of resources, but now if I wanted to do any ambitious minecart projects, then I suppose I've got a lot of resources to do it. But there we go. That is the tunnel done. Now I need to get myself prepared to start doing all the redstone stuff, and also I need to come up with a way to stop these guys from spawning, because they can't spawn on the tracks, but they can spawn in this middle bit right here. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to put half slabs down the middle in between all of the torches, and then we should be okay. But one thing that I have just thought is that they'll be able to spawn on the torch blocks. This could be tough. Oh no, there's a creeper right next to my apple. There's a creeper right next to my apple. Oh god, just about got him. Okay, so now it is time to start work on the system bit. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go underneath here and do a little bit of redstone work. So we want to go blocks up like this, I do believe. I'm trying to remember it from what I had done originally. And we're going to need a detector rail in here somewhere. So I think what I'll do is I will set this one back a bit. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the first one on camera so you can see roughly how to build it. And then the next one I will do off camera somewhere up at that end over there. So we're going to need a detector rail on this spot right here. So I'll quickly grab myself a little bit of redstone, and it doesn't look like I've brought enough with me, does it? So we're going to have to run that underneath the bottom here, and that is going to run into these blocks, which are going to be right like this, and then we need a block up at the end. Now I am using iron for the minute. I don't know if I'm going to be sticking with that. I don't know if it looks particularly good, but anyway, the redstone will run up into this block, and that is how all of that is going to work. Then as far as the rails that are going across like this, all we need to do is place a couple powered rails down on these 2 blocks here. So we need the detector rail that is going to activate the redstone, and then we are going to need powered rails going up like this. They should be powered by this detector rail, hopefully. At least that is the plan. And then round the top here, we're going to need a few more regular ones, and that should be it. So if we chuck down a button on this one, then that is going to be the launch for our minecart. So we'll travel off, and then when we reach the other end, it will set off this minecart that will travel along like this, go along here, hit the wall, and land in this exact spot here. That is the plan. I believe that is what I've got in my redstone testing world. I think that is the system that I have set up. Of course, we are going to need to take out these blocks up here, otherwise we are going to suffocate, which will be a slight design flaw there. So we'll take out those, so our minecart will run up like this, and then go donk, down in there, and the other one will be on the other end. So we should have an infinite loop of minecarts, and we should never come over here to an empty space. But you never know. I mean, this is redstone, and I have done a few redstone contraptions on servers before, as you know, and they never, ever work to plan. So we'll see how this one goes, shall we? I'm on the maiden voyage. I'm on the minecart. I can see the minecart track on the other side. And I don't know if this is going to work, because I just sent a minecart down there, but I don't know if it has gone into unloaded chunks. Now, that is something that I hadn't really thought of, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. We do have ourselves some zombie pigmen here, which could, yeah, it could cause a bit of a problem. We are actually nudging this guy along. Come on, man! Have you not realised? Alright, continue forth. But that might have caused a slight problem with the minecart. I am eventually going to put half slabs above all of these rails. But the minute we are in the testing phase, there is a minecart there, which is good. Is it going to get sent off in time? It looks like it has. And it's away. It's worked, I think, unless it gets stopped by a zombie pigman. But we are going to fix that in a couple of seconds. But the system is working. I've got a massive smile on my face. Redstone has worked on the server. I don't know, actually. I don't know if that minecart is going to go into unloaded chunks and completely stop, not work anymore. That is entirely a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, we are going to have to wait and see on that one. But for the minute, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself some half slabs, and we're going to cover the entire track. That's to make sure that no zombie pigmen spawn on it, and we can't get knocked back by any of them. Because that is very frustrating. But one thing that I have just thought is that these little fellas can actually fit under those half slabs. Oh, this has just been nothing but a brain ache so far. Nothing but a brain ache. One full side of the half slabbing has now been done, and the tunnel, I can confirm, is over 330 blocks. I sort of lost count after then, but it's around about 330 plus blocks, which is pretty crazy considering we have mined all of it out, we have placed in all of the rails, we have done all of the redstone torching and everything like that. And also, one thing that I have just noticed is that we have a minecart at the other end, which means the system works! Redstone on a server is okay now. It's got a little bit better. It's gone higher up in my books. Because, I mean, my friendship, my relationship with Redstone on servers hasn't been particularly good over the past month, as I'm sure some of you remember. So finally, something has worked first time, and I am a very happy bunny indeed. But anyway, I'm going to continue placing down these half slabs. It's about as fun as it looks, so I'll catch you guys in a bit. So now it is time to give this a bash. I want to see if this is working, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop in the minecart, I'll give it a ride, and then we'll see if the minecart makes it back. So what I'll do is I'll go in the minecart, go all the way there, and then come all the way back, and both times we should see a minecart at the end that will then travel off. At least that is the theory. So I am going to now mute this, and I am going to fast forward it so that you can see exactly what it is that I am seeing, if you get what I mean. So there we have it, folks. The mine loop system that we have created looks to be working like an absolute charm. We have got one minecart here, one minecart has been sent off and is heading over to the other side. Might have made it by then, so we will have one minecart at either end. When you hop in the minecart at that end, it will travel along like this, and then this minecart here will be sent off to the other end, and we will get ourselves a fully interchangeable switching minecart system. That means we should never have to walk along this tunnel ever again, because I can tell you, it is so boring. Even running with ice, you know, doing this, although it's extremely fast, you actually have to be doing something. You have to be hitting that spacebar constantly, which is, well, it's no good, isn't it? I like to sit in the minecart, and then I walk away, grab myself a drink, or do other bits and pieces. I don't want to have to worry about smacking my spacebar like no tomorrow, so this is the perfect system for me. But anyway, that is all I've got time for today, ladies and gents. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.